Ta-da! There's our arsenal of weapons. Look how the sun has just come out to endorse our changing of the old garden bed into the new. I don't know what I'm doing here, guys. I'm just enjoying every second that I'm doing it. I'm an absolute mess, but that's just the way it's supposed to be. And now it's finally time. It's finally time to do what we've been waiting for the whole time. It's the reason we do all of this stuff. It's the reason that we're transforming this old garden bed behind me into a brand new garden bed. And let me point the camera down so you can watch me put these guys in the ground. This is what we're gonna be transforming. I'm gonna be ripping this edging out. I'm gonna be pulling all of that mulch out of there. I'm gonna be moving some of the plants. I'm gonna be trimming some of the plants. I'm gonna be removing a lot of these plants. And if all that wasn't enough, I've got a greenhouse right over there with a whole collection of plants that I've been kind of building up over the weeks. But I'm gonna save all of our new plants that I've got waiting in the greenhouse as a little treat for the end once we get through the hard work of actually, disassembling this old garden. It kind of looks a little bit rectangular coming off that tree. So I want to add like a really nice curve to this garden. So that's kind of the first step here, is just kind of formulating the shape. Before we get to our supplies list, let me grab a good old can of spray paint. I'm gonna bring this garden bed out. Let's see here. The bigger I make this new addition, the more grass I actually have to pull out of here. So let's rein ourselves in a little bit. But also the bigger I make this new addition, the more plants I'm going to be able to fill into this garden. So once this thing is actually transformed at the end of today, we're gonna have so much more space. In fact, I'm gonna bring this garden bed, I'm gonna kind of round it out like this. So what I'm doing right here is I'm getting a view, and then let's just spray paint a little X on the ground. And now every time I come back to this little X, we're gonna have a pretty similar view of the garden back there, and it'll kind of clean things up. It'll make this video a little bit more pleasant for you to watch. So really the whole idea of this project is going to be taking this old garden right here and just seamlessly integrating it into the new garden right there. Bring this all out, opening up a big, giant, expansive space that we can fill up with plants, and will also serve as sort of the entrance to the forest garden here. There's our arsenal of weapons that will be assisting us in the transformation of the garden. So let's start by pulling some bricks out of here and maybe tossing them over beside the old tree. Because after we remove all of these bricks, this is next. We got to remove all of this mulchy stuff that, fortunately, if we kind of move some of it, has been creating pretty nice garden dirt right under it for all of these years, however long this has been here. Let's see how many I can carry at once. I think that was like 8 or 9. I'm always thinking when I'm making these videos, guys, how can I make this boring stuff as interesting as possible? So let's remove this brick real nice and slow. And then maybe the next time I come back to the camera, all of this will magically be finished, just like, ta-da! Look how the sun has just come out to endorse our changing of the old garden bed into the new. Let's get all of this mulch out of here. Let me set you up with a cool shot, and we'll get moving. Of course, I'm not going to throw it away. I mean, these old wood chips could be used for all sorts of things. They just don't really fit into the rest of the forest garden at the moment. So we're gonna store them over here somewhere. Maybe just make a little corner pile over here. Now, are you ready to watch me do that over and over and over and over and over again? Let's see how fast I can dig out to you. Also, you might be asking yourself, why are you doing it the hard way, Ryan? You know, with just a shovel and a bucket. Well, the truth is that I don't have a wheelbarrow. Otherwise, I'd be using that. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to get in. You got to do it the hardest, most manualist, you know, positive attitude, get in there and get her done way that you can. Once you've paid your dues, that's when you can get the machines. But for now, sometimes it's okay to just use a bucket. We've uncovered an ant attack, and I'm gonna steer clear of these guys because I don't know if you can see it, but I got into a little scuffle with them the other day. These things right here, I've just been looking at them for so long. They've never really done anything. I've never seen a flower or anything on these, and I think I'm just gonna rip them right out of the garden. Maybe we'll save a couple clumps and plant them over by the pond. And that is the reason this is my favorite tool. And the fact that I can plant this over by the pond or wherever, I can inflict that kind of damage on something and then just stick it in the ground, and this thing will just continue to grow and do its thing. That's what I love about gardening. I think we've got this old existing bed starting to look like a new forest garden bed. I'm going to continue using my spaded steel shovel here, because now what we got to do is we've got to create the new borders of this bed. Stick it in. You want to give it just a little kick. Boop, boop, boop. And now you dig up a little bit and push. Gotta kind of use your groin. I don't know if you're getting it real good. I'll give you a better angle of how I'm using my groin doing this. Like this. See them. And you get it in as far as you can. And put you back down. Get it in as far as you can. And then you just rip it up, like so. You can also do the knee method when your back's starting to hurt a little bit from all the bending. In that case, you just want to kind of get that shovel in whatever way you can. Let me show you my new little grass patch over here. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, right? I just drag the grass from where I'm peeling it right down in there and it'll all be good. I think so. Anyways, regardless of grass or shovels or any of that sort of stuff, it's very hard work. And it's time for a water break. To make sure you spill a little bit down your face, just to cool yourself off a little bit with your icy cold water. Oh yeah. Another thing I'm starting to wonder as I'm looking at this space and looking at my pile of materials over there is I can't make any promises, but I don't think I got enough compost or topsoil to fill in all this space. So part of this project may mean another trip back to the hardware store to pick up a whole new load of dirt and stuff. I was just, well, we'll see how far what we got gets us, right? I've actually decided that my favorite method is the sit and knee, the knee and scrape, or scrape knees, as I've shortened it to, with one critical improvement. I'm now filling my bucket with my grass shavings rather than running back and forth to my new grass patch over and over again. It's efficient thinking like that. That'll turn me eventually from a gardener in training to a master gardener. And you'll be here with me when I do it. Won't that be exciting? Can you feel how efficient this has become? Well, I sure can. It's kind of nice seeing the old grass patch when you haven't seen it every single shovelful. All right, I've officially got the grass removed using my peeling methods. Let me give you a nice shot from our X. There it is. And there it is. It's looking more suitable for plants, but I mean, this is still pretty hard soil here. So that's why the idea is to get in there with the pickaxe. Just basically cultivate this a little bit, bust it up, kind of prepare it. We're gonna throw some more dirt, some more compost and things in there. But we wanna prepare this initial ground for roots. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Just do that a whole bunch more times with me. The best part by far of this pickaxe and step is number one, you just get to feel like a lumberjack swinging this thing around. But number two, you're just kind of swinging wherever, you know? It doesn't matter. You don't have to be careful with anything. You're not going around any edges. You're just literally throwing this thing into the ground wildly, freely. It's kind of like dancing, you know? Dancing with the garden. Let's do a little more. And roll it. Again, this could be the job of like a cultivator, some sort of a gas-powered machine that can just get into the ground and really rip it up. What I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to loosen up all the dirt to prepare it for the plant's roots. I'm gonna have a whole layer of compost and topsoil and stuff that's sitting on top of all this, but we still want those roots to be able to grow down through all of our good soil and still make it into the ground to really kind of root itself into Mother Earth here. While we're breaking up the ground, while we're doing the hard work, we want to get over to this side of the bed too and just sort of, again, get things loosened up, freshen it all up. We're turning this old garden bed into a brand new fresh garden bed, and we want to give it the biggest oomph we can right from the beginning, so that every plant that we plant into here is happy and, you know, lives out a delightful life with us. We've got another tool in our dirt working arsenal, our manual cultivator. The pickaxe was the rough grind, and now we're going to do the fine grind. There's one thing that I actually like this thing more for than breaking up dirt, and that's for actually stirring things in. So when we throw the compost and the topsoil and all that in with this dirt, we're going to be bringing this tool back out again just to kind of stir everything in together. But for now, I'm going to give this garden one more once over with that tool and just, officially get this dirt as loose as I possibly can. Nice, juicy soil. Nice, refreshing water break. Oh yeah, it's time to put our soils on the garden bed. Right over here, in fact. I also just want to have an excuse to use every one of the tools I brought out today. I can see right now we're going to need twice as much of our topsoil, so I'm going to grab another 4 bags of that. And I've got 8 bags of compost waiting right here. I'm just going to grab another 8 bags because, you know, you can see how big the garden bed is there. Now that's what you call a double dose of dirt. 4 more bags of topsoil in here, ready to spread out. I think that should be enough to kind of fill in this front part of the bed. Again, I'm just trying to sort of just amend the soil, give it a little bit more depth, give it a little bit more bounce, if you will. Let me point out one thing here. All of these bags that are laying right there, and they're each pretty heavy. I want to say, I don't know how much it weighs, but let's just say maybe 50 pounds a bag. The part that you miss is at the store, loading them onto the cart, paying for them, unloading them, picking them all back up again, loading them into the car right over there, and then getting back here, unloading them from the car, carrying them all over here, throwing them all into place. That's the part that you don't see in between. You just get to see the fun, juicy parts where, you know, all the hard work's done, and I'm just kind of giving you the highlights. Now it's time to spread all the rest of this stuff. We're gonna get all of this compost, all of this topsoil, everything amended into there. Then it'll finally be time to show you the plants. Right over there in that greenhouse. What I like to do is open it up like a present, and then you can kind of just pour it out. This is the part that gets fun. This is where you get to dive into the dirt. The compost is going to be even better because it smells amazing. There's just something so garden-y about compost. Oh, compost. It's been far too long for me and you. Still smelling fresh. This is my favorite part of the process. Actually, no, this isn't. This is my second favorite part of the process. Putting the plants in the ground is, of course, my favorite part of the process. what's spreading around the soil and just kind of, you know, getting dirty is, oh, it's such a close second. Do you want to see a few more shots of me getting intimate with some compost? Well, hey, isn't that what YouTube is for? For weirdos like me to do weird things, like playing compost and just assume that that people will think I'm cool because of it. Who knows? I don't know what I'm doing here, guys. I'm just enjoying every second that I'm doing it. One more intimate compost shot, and I'm gonna make this one so dramatic. How'd it do? Oh hey, haven't seen you on this side of the bed in a while. Well, now that I've officially filled up every square inch of the newly transformed garden bed, it's time to get back with our cultivator and just, you know, get in here and stir this delicious soil up just even a little bit more. Pause the time lapse. We've got to move to the other side of the garden. Just kidding, I'm fine. I just gotta keep stirring the rest of this garden. I'm so ready to put the plants in this thing. Could it possibly be? Well, it is. We've got all of our topsoil, all of our compost, our bed's completely stirred up. I'm an absolute mess, but that's just the way it's supposed to be. And now it's finally time. It's finally time to do what we've been waiting for the whole time. It's the reason we do all of this stuff. It's the reason that we're transforming this old garden bed behind me into a brand new garden bed. And it's about 50 or 60 degrees hotter when I step right out here into the sun. But nonetheless, it's finally time to show you what plants I've got waiting for in there. This is our lemony lace. A lemony lace shrub. This is a prostrate yew. It only likes part sun, so it's gonna kind of hang out here. This right here is our barbecue rosemary. Being rosemary, anytime we want, we'll be able to come up to this little barbecue plant and get a nice delicious scent. I've got this one, since it kind of points off to the right there, I'm specifically placing it where it's sort of pointing into the garden. Don't worry about where you put your plants in the beginning, just get them in the ground and get listening to them, and they'll tell you where they want to be eventually. This one right here is a Caradona salvia. Over here we've got a New Dimension Rose salvia. Over here we've got a Salvia nomorosa. And over here, the littlest one in the bunch, we've got a New Dimension Blue salvia. And you can even see a tiny little taste of what this little guy is going to give us when he grows up nice and strong. I think it's going to look nice to just kind of place all four of these different variety of salvia plants right around that pointing lemony lace, right in the center there. In fact, maybe we ought to just shift that around a little bit while we're at it. But that's not all, folks. I've still got a few more plants left in the greenhouse. Let me grab them. I'll see you back here at the bed. And isn't this dwarf Egyptian papyrus cool? But you see that kind of central, the larger bush in the back there? Imagine a circle going around that bush. And I've got these dwarf Egyptian papyrus kind of sitting on the border of that circle. And when you make little zones like that, kind of all over your larger bed, that's what ends up kind of growing up nicely. And you know, it just kind of looks better in the end. So always be thinking about focal points and then designing around your focal points as your garden expands. Now we've got Mr. No Name, and I think we're going to set this one right beside, or right in front of our Egyptian papyrus. How's it right there, buddy? That's your new home. We've got some Cooper's ice plant, and this is a nice ground cover plant. So I thought it'd be a nice place to maybe start a little ground coverage over on this side of the bed. See how we've got level, level, and level? That's how I think in terms of designing things and where to place plants and stuff like that. Now, of course, they're going to grow. Everything's going to change. And when things change, that's when you change and you kind of move them around to a new spot. Do I have a, oh no, I thought I had dirt on my mustache, but it's just my mustache. I've been doing a little experiment in one of my shadier beds right back there. And I've been playing around with growing houseplants in, well, houseplants outside. How crazy is that, right? So this right here, this is a split leaf philodendron. Maybe what we'll do is we'll put our split leaf philodendron right here on the end, next to our Swiss cheese. Should I keep them all grouped up together? Right here. And it's time to introduce all these new plants. Even you over here, Egyptian papyrus and Mr. No Name. It's time to introduce all of you to your new home. Dig a pretty deep hole for this one. Oh yeah, remember to point it towards the entrance. Kind of guiding everybody in. And now this part is when you kind of, a little bit of tough love, a little bit of kind of pressing it into the ground and, you know, marrying it to its new little spot in the garden. And then of course the delightful massage at the end, just to kind of let your plants know that, you know, even though it might be a little bit rough out here in the bed during a storm or something like that, that you got its back. We're back at our dwarf Egyptian grass, our Prince Tut dwarf Egyptian papyrus, I should say. And let me point the camera down so you can watch me put these guys in the ground. I just think the texture of this stuff is so cool. Okay. Look, we even do have a little bloom on our Cooper's ice plant. I'll give you a little taste of what this guy's gonna give us. Again, layers. Little ground cover, a little bit higher, probably something even higher back there at some point. Got one plant left to plant, but before we get to that, let me set you up. We're gonna do a newly transformed garden bed cleanup time lapse. And last but not least, we're gonna save our split leaf philodendron for this spot right here. So let's plant this one together. I'm so curious to see how these houseplants do out in the shadier portion of this bed. Well, that's what gardening's all about, right? Doing little experiments. Let's pop you in there. So at this point, there's really not much left to do. We've got the plants in the ground. We've got everything done. All the hard work we did this morning, all that's in the past, because now we've got a beautiful, newly transformed garden bed. We took that old garden bed and we transformed it into something new. That we not only have a bunch of new plants to kind of watch and grow and, you know, that sort of thing, but we've got all sorts of open new space for new things and new ideas and, you know, new little experiments that we can get. Get our final shot of our newly transformed garden bed. And don't worry, I'm gonna walk you around the outside, show you from all directions. Again, we've got our salvia plants. Those 4 plants right there were actually what inspired this whole bed. And wow, what a treat to get it finished. Can you see the Egyptian grass poking through behind the shrubs over there? I almost forgot. Our cute little ice plants over here. Let me get your blooms up again. There we go. Mr. No Name, how you feeling in there? Egyptian grass, looking regal. And for the last time in this video, I promise. There's nothing like breathing a little rosemary, particularly this barbecue rosemary into your old nostrils there. See our mature bushes, the oldest plants in the whole forest garden, actually. They're looking a little overgrown, so let's trim them up. Let's freshen them up for, you know, to match the newly transformed garden bed. Maybe a little around the side here. So a brand new haircut for the most mature bushes in the garden bed, just to kind of make them feel cool with the rest of these new young bucks hanging out in the front portion. Let's get one last full look. It's always good to give your plants a little soak when you've freshly planted them, just to kind of get some of that food from the compost down into those roots. Again, kind of welcome them into their new space with a nice big fat meal of juicy pooey compost. And this is how they get that juicy pooey compost. So now that we've finished our brand new garden bed over there, let's pat ourselves on the back first of all. Congratulate ourselves on a job well done. I did most of the physical work, of course. Let's have a seat beside the pond over here. Maybe right now we'll start winding that outro music. And I just want to tell you a little story. I want to tell you a little story to send us on our road until next time that we meet. I was hanging out with some family this past weekend, and someone, we'll call her Mary, because that's her name, Mary. She asked me, Ryan, why are you so inspiring? How do you do it? She didn't quite go to these extremes of that, but let's just say she asked me, you know, how are you so inspiring? How do you do so many things? I guess she just assumed that I do so much more things than she does for some reason. My moustache looks very dark in this light. The key that I've found is to find anything really, but something that you can do for hours and hours on end. Something that you don't mind doing. It almost doesn't feel like work. Something like gardening in my case. So that's the key. It's pretty simple. You find something that you can do all the time. You find something that you can lose yourself in, and then you approach whatever that is with a childlike curiosity and excitement. And you'll start slowly glowing. Eventually you'll be beaming light out for miles and miles for everybody to see. And if we all do that, if we all do a little bit of that in our own special little way, well, eventually it's contagious, and the entire world's going to be doing that. And can you imagine what this place that we live in is going to be like when everybody is approaching everything that they love with the curiosity and the excitement of being a child? I can't think of a much better way to end our video than that. So a little food for thought, and we'll see you on the next one.